Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.
Alright, if you just joined us, it's still Enterprise Morning on Enterprise TV. Now to our main conversation. Ruth Ogunleye, a soldier, has accused 3 senior officers in the army of harassment, intimidation, and threat to life. Ogunleye, who said her trouble started when she was posted to the Cantonment Medical Center, Ogor, Lagos, where she met Col I.B Abdulkareem, who allegedly requested sex from her and she refused. Ogunleye claimed that the senior officer consequently threatened to dismiss her from the army, denied her promotion courses, rejected her army pass request, evicted her from her apartment, and locked her up at a psychiatric hospital. Ogunleye added that, quote, "Anytime I try to report Col Abdulkareem to senior officers, he always tells them I am battling mental illness, and anytime he feels like embarrassing me, he asks some soldiers to beat me up." End quote. She added that when her dad tried to intervene, the senior officer told him to ask her daughter to obey the last order. Meanwhile, the Nigerian army in a post on X has asked the public to refrain from making hasty judgment and allow the investigation process to take its course. And still in the studios with me to make sense of this main conversation today, I still have with me in the studio Mr. Olusegun Okunade. Thank you so very much, sir, for still being with us on our show today. And Barrister Tunji Abdulhamid, thank you so very much, sir, also for remaining with us on our studios today. Thank you for having you. So let's go to this issue. Of course, I would love to respect the assertion by the Nigerian army that the general public shouldn't go into hasty judgment on this particular issue because, according to them, investigation is still ongoing. So while that is for us a subset, I would love us to talk about gender-based violence and its consequences in our society. And the big question here is, what do you think is the motivation, borrowing from this issue that we just learned now? Where do you think that is coming from? And what do you think is the right of women in our society, especially when it comes to gender-based violence like the one we just read out? Let me start with you, Barrister Tunji Abdulhamid.
Well, let me first of all say that, look, this allegation by the soldier is a very weighty one, very strong allegation, and a very embarrassing to the military institution. Be that as may, I want to align with the military, what's it called? The release by the military officers that we should just we should not be in a hurry. Because why I say so, I'm saying so because this is an issue that has to do with allegation now, as this based on our law, and you must establish it. But in Nigeria, you say what will happen with that? Once an allegation, particularly when it has to do with domestic, what's it called? What is it called? Allegation regarding this harassment of a female or whatever, we without even anything, we concluded that that person is guilty and then it should be sentenced or whatever. This is unfortunately, I'm not saying the girl has no case or he does not have any case. Unfortunately, he had a difficult case in his hand. He had a difficult case. They have a lawyer, and I'm talking as a lawyer. I'm not using sentiment here. I'm not saying whether our allegation is correct or it's not correct. I'm not saying whether it's lying or they are preventing. I'm not saying so. I'm just talking generally based on what I've seen. What is it now? These allegations has to do with harassment. Does he have enough material in her hands to substantiate what he has alleged? Does he have anything apart from this? I was harassed by them or this and that. Does he have any other thing? Concrete evidence. But I was expecting that she would have done a kind of a stingy operation. When I say stingy, I'm talking about trying to use some trick to get certain evidence. Because as it is today now, if there's nothing apart from this, I was harassed or this and that, it will be the award. I award against their wall. And it will be difficult for anybody to come into a conclusion and say it happened.
But we understand
I'm saying this because in case the military come out and say the investigation did not just happen, I know Nigerians say, oh, this and that. But that's not possible. So we need to have that, and that's why they say we should not rush into judgment, and I want to agree with them because it's a matter of evidence.
Yes.
And it's going to be, and I appreciate that it's going to be a difficult situation for her if there is no another. So I was expecting to have done the kind of underground work, trying to trap them into, and then they get something, a video or evidence to show it. That's when, as it is today now, it will be a award against theirs. There's no other thing. And those who are doing the investigation, I don't know what they will investigate. If it's only about say your own, say my own, how would they unravel it? How would they ascertain the truth? It's going to be difficult. So, and again, we tend to, I'm not a feminist, I'm not anti-feminist. When we always talk about female harassment, there are male harassment too. So let's just make it general. Harassment and what do you call it now?
Domestic violence.
Yes.
Or harassment generally. Women, there are women or ladies that also harass men. So we need to also look at that. I'm not trying to justify anything. But like I said, this kind of a thing, people should try to make it more, use intelligence, get certain evidence, apart from this, your word alone, to be able to get any result.
The concrete right.
We need to, it's a serious issue. And Lagos State government generally, they take it seriously.
Very seriously.
If you are alleged of any thing that's sexual harassment or anything, you may not even get bail. You may not get bail. So it's a very serious issue to them, and then we should take it seriously.
Yes.
And then nobody should be harassed just because it's a male or a female. There is no harassment, and then you will not be harassed just because you are his Ogor or is understanding under you. It's a mutual. It should not be about. I'm not even in a system. I'm not even aware that military are allowed to even date one another or their what's it called, the officers on that day. I'm not sure I'm not aware that any law that whether it's a law that says they can't do that. So, but if you have an advantage over somebody, definitely there is possibility of you taking advantage of that person.
Exactly.
So we need to. It's a serious issue that we need to fight. But what we need to do is that, look, for us to be able to fight these things, the victim should try as much as possible use intelligence, gather evidence, written or video evidence to be able to get or audio recording, so that we're able to get ascertained, because it will be difficult.
Yes.
To ascertain. Our law is about evidence.
Facts.
It's about evidence. You might have a good case and you lose your case because there's no evidence. So in this case, I'm not sure whether we're able to get it. I don't know what's happening with her. I don't know whether she has another thing. But if there's no other information or any other document or any other audio recording or whatever, it may be difficult for her to establish what she is claiming. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm not saying it happened. I'm saying that we are aware there are a lot of harassment in this country, not only in the military, not only in the police, everywhere. In every businesses, people do that. There's a lot of harassment, and people are keeping it to themselves. So we need to fight it, and then the only way we can fight is for people to speak out.
Exactly.
So let's speak out, people will be able to fight for it.
Very, very true. So let's talk about, because there's no gainsaying that the world we live in today, especially in our country, Nigeria, is, especially with our culture, it's a man's world. Just like he did say that the lady needs to have more than enough evidence to prove.
They will not agree with you.
To prove.
The man's word.
I'm just waiting to respond to.
Is that to prove that this is a fact. Now, how do you think this lady can escape this? Number one, recognizing the institution that she has found herself, where it is saying, obey the last order. Right? Where a senior officer comes to say, do this, and you have no reason not to do it. You have to respect that to do that. How do you think a woman can survive this in that sort of atmosphere, or in that kind of toxic environment?
Yeah, well, I will say this, that she's not the first female to work in that particular, let me say, organization or agency of the government military. A lot of women have actually gone through that, and I want to state that I will go in line with what Barrister Tunji has said. The senior officers you're working against, or you're speaking against, you'll be shocked when they substantiate their position that it's not about harassment, but somebody trying to blackmail them for failure in duty. I'm talking in the way those people, no senior officer, even when he has such intention, will be so loose of him not having something to pick. You can read from your prologue saying that there are mental issues.
That's what it's not. It's like keep using against her.
So you would have seen possibly in interaction, maybe there is a video evidence or documentation to a certain, because taking you to psychiatric home for a certain period of time and he succeeded in keeping you there. That's one evidence against you to buttress his own point. So I feel it's not because it's a man's world. It's just who is able to gather certain things as evidence to cover up himself. If he doesn't have, I'll give kudos to Lagos State, like my brother said. A lot of cases, look at the one that happened with these actors, then with Baba Jesha and the like. A lot of those people have actually passed the doctor, passed signal out. But those cases were able to fly because there were evidences, against stinking one like you plugging in on your camera in the house and lure you to come out. And men at times, you say it's men's world, but we fall cheaply when it comes to that area. If a lady needs to lure you and you're in quotes, she's the one dictating venue, she's the one doing those things, you should put on your thinking cap to know that, no, I dictate and cut the shot here if such thing must even happen. I'm not encouraging it, but like my friend says, most of the time we always consider the women as the weaker vessel that are actually being oppressed. But these days it's no longer like that. A lot of ladies actually harassed men, but they may not do it directly. And here they pick me up severally. They will tell you if somebody is dressing, irresponsibly, your duty is to take off your eyes. Because how do you close your eyes to such thing? And if you look at the way a man is wired, you are moved by what you see.
But isn't there discipline as an underliner?
There is discipline, but when it comes to what you feed your eye, you are saying something, at least humanly, you must react. But a woman is not moved by what they see, but by what they hear. So if there is no avenue for you to speak, will she be convinced? But you already harassed the man with what he's saying.
Can I put a question? Before they come after you, say,
no, they've always been coming.
That's not an excuse.
No, they've always been coming. They've always been coming. But they've always been coming. And I'm an advocate of ladies going.
So that man don't wear that kind of clothes. Woman.
Maybe when she's on duty. When she's off duty. Well, do you know what she puts on? So you see, they always come after me. But I've asked some of them who are very close to me to be an advocate of decent dressing. You know that a man is actually, look at what happened during December. A lot of people are out there in public space, A man will not come, he's just seeing you, he's already shaking like Shakespeare, and you want him to be disciplined. The truth of it is that...
You can approach and lay the card for her, not to harass or...
Not to when you now come, a lady will now tell you, what rubbish are you telling me?
Go away.
What rubbish are you actually telling me? So I'm not supporting that they should be harassed, but I think most ladies are suddenly throw cautions to wind with this level of indecent dressing, which we must nip at the bud and look for ways, at least for the upcoming generation. I don't advocate for you saying, what's your business? I try to dress to make myself happy. What if we try to do certain things? If you are saying a lady is not moved by what you see, but if you see what you are not supposed to see, will you be yourself? Men too have been harassed, truth be told. But I'm not supporting harassment on the part of every man to a lady. But the truth is, can we balance it? Kudos to Lagos State government in the area of dealing with people that are, carrying out domestic violence against women. But men too, I know that too is happening. When it comes to domestic violence, Lagos State don't look at it as gender imbalance. They even picked up two on ladies that attacked men, physically, or assault them physically. So for me, we should improve on our value proposition. Indecent dressing in public domain should actually be minimized. When you are on social media these days, a lot of things that you see, when you know that children can have access to some of these things, it's really not too encouraging. And I think we should come out to discourage it when it is not good, so that at least we can have a balanced act and not throw accusing finger. Always put at the back of your mind as a lady when you are dressing, that your dressing is going to be seen by a man. And that man is moved by what he sees. When you dress decently, if he wants to approach you, definitely he will approach you and make things happen. And I make my submission like that.
All right, so Barrister, let's dig deep a bit on this issue. And I'm talking about the Lagos State government enforcement on gender-based violence and all of that. And if you take a very good deep look at it, you would agree with me that majorly is an issue of pedophilia. Okay, when it comes to pedophilia, they are always out in there to make it happen. But when it comes to the issue of real, above 18 coming to equally give the same issue and say, I have been raped, I have been abused, they tend not to give it the same type of attention given to issues of pedophilia. Just in a minute.
Like I said, it's a very difficult thing. And then it's not an excuse for anybody to say pedophilia or whatever it is. It's not an excuse to harass or even intimidate anybody or even do anything that's against the law. That's not an excuse under the law. So once that has been done, the offense has been committed, and you should be punished appropriately. So if you do the right thing by punishing people for doing the wrong thing, then we'll get the result back. So no matter what excuse you are giving, it will not be an excuse. Whether those people dress indecently, that's why you do that or not, will not be an excuse. If you have a medical condition that makes you to go and sort out that medical condition so that you won't be able to, don't find yourself in any deep situation.
Very, very true. All right, so this is just about the time we have for our main conversation today. I'd love to say a big thank you to Mr. Olusegun Okunwade for being part of our show today. Thank you so very much, sir.
Thank you for having me.
And Barrister Col I.B Abdulkareem, thank you so very much, sir, also for being part of our show. And for you, what we love to say, thank you also for being part of our program today. Please do well to visit our website at www.enterprisetvnews.com. Follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. Subscribe to our YouTube channel also at Enterprise TV7. I am Henry Gobik. I'll see you tomorrow for yet another awesome time. Bye.
Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.